My name is Ella Simpson, and for my film reflection, I chose Milk, which is about Harvey Milk, who was the first openly gay official elected to office within America. For my reflection, I am focusing on resiliency within the LGBTQ+ community, as well as conversion therapy and the impacts of that, and the paradox of sexual prejudice and how that works within society. The first scene I have chosen is the scene in which Cleve Jones has recently returned from Spain, which starts exactly at 33 minutes and ends at 34 minutes and 10 seconds. Cleve Jones is upset over a breakup with the man he thought he would spend the rest of his life with in this scene. Harvey tries to comfort him by telling Cleve that he will meet numerous wonderful men over his life, but will not know until the end who were his greatest lovers and who were his greatest friends. Well, this is a great bonding moment between Harvey and Cleve, and a pretty good explanation of the gay movement. The latter part of the scene, in which Cleve talks about a memorial march that is turned into a riot, is what I am focusing on. Cleve says that this memorial march in Barcelona for gay people who had been killed under Franco's rule turned into a riot because the police tried to break it up, but these queens, as Cleve called them, did not run. They stood and fought, causing a gruesome riot to break out in response to this injustice against people who were simply grieving but they were attacked because they were gay. In this moment, Cleve is describing the importance of fighting for human rights and the resiliency required to achieve equality and justice. Resiliency has been a major theme throughout this course, and it has been featured within pretty much all of the movies we have covered. It is, however, especially apparent in Vincent's 2008 film Milk, in which Harvey and his supporters continuously fight against bigots and injustice for their rights to exist and love whomever they choose, through boycotts, protests, riots, and continually running for office. Resiliency is something any oppressed group, like the LGBTQ+ community, has to have interwoven into their identity out of sheer necessity for being heard and seen and acknowledged. While there are many examples within Milk depicting this vital resiliency, the image Cleve recounts about blood running in the gutters and a drag queen with a gash in her scalp from a rubber bullet continuing to fight for their lives and rights, bleeding and screaming, is so visceral that I feel it best encapsulates the drive, dedication, and sacrifice that make up resiliency. As Cleve says, she was screaming, but she kept on fighting. And that quote is from 33 minutes, 36 seconds until 33 minutes and 39 seconds. This is also the important moment in which Harvey convinces Cleve to join and fight in his revolution within the Castro and San Francisco for gay rights and lives that ultimately wins him his seat as supervisor, and unfortunately his martyrdom for the cause, thus passing his resiliency for the movement on to the next generation through Cleve. This transfer of resiliency to the next generation brings me to my next scene that I've selected, which begins at 39 minutes and 5 seconds and goes until 40 minutes and 5 seconds. This scene is when Harvey receives his phone call from a young gay person named Paul who wants to kill himself because his parents have found out that he's gay and they are planning to send him to a conversion therapy hospital to fix him. This boy thinks that there is no hope because he's in a wheelchair, unable to leave by himself. And this hopelessness displays how debilitating it is to be told that you are wrong, you do not belong, and you need to be fixed just for who you want to love. This is already feelings that a lot of young people go through when discovering their identity. So to be told by your loved ones and caregivers that this is true, these horrible feelings you've been having of yourself are accurate, and then being forced into conversion therapy destroys any self-esteem or hope that they have left. And the only thing that Harvey can think of to help him at that moment is that there's nothing wrong with you. You are not sick, and you are not wrong, and God does not hate you. And this quote is from 39 minutes, 41 seconds until 39 minutes, 57 seconds. And that quote really encapsulates what every young person who is having doubts and self-deprecating thoughts about themselves pertaining to their identity really need to hear, but many don't. And of course, things do work out for Paul because he's able to get to Los Angeles, and once he discovers that Harvey won his seat and regains hope. But many people during that time, and even now, were not so lucky and have been exposed to the mistreatment and inhumane practices that conversion and Soji's practices utilize. This is depicted within Kinitz et al.'s article on experiences of conversion therapy in Canada, which details how ineffective and harmful conversion therapy is, and the mental tolls and lasting emotional trauma that people are subjected to through these conversion therapies that are not even based in psychological research and are just completely based in stigma, hate, and prejudice that unfortunately still follows LGBTQ plus people around to this day. Which leads me into a connection I made between these scenes based on Blair et al.'s article about shifts in attitudes regarding LGBTQ plus identities and relationships, which states that attitudes towards sexual and gender diversity have varied quite a lot over the decades, but a lot of people think that this journey to acceptance has been a linear progression. And this is extremely relevant to today's political and social climate, in which we are experiencing the paradox of sexual prejudice, which occurs when acceptance of LGBTQ plus identities appear to be at an all-time high, but have actually led to people feeling better about lashing out against them because they're indoctrinating our children and the woke agenda has gone too far. Relating our current paradox of sexual prejudice to the events that took place within this film put a lot into perspective for me, and it just really helped me understand how far things have come, but how easily we can backslide. And the ending quote that Sean Penn says as Harvey Milk, which is, "If a bullet should enter my brain, let it destroy every closet door," I think will stick with me forever. It's just such a powerful message, and I really relate to it because I've always thought that just because societal norms say that being heterosexual is the norm and that LGBTQ plus people have to come out really has always bothered me. And I think society has a lot farther to go to become accepting, but I think it's manageable with time and education and openness and empathy. Thanks.